Hello, this is Debra Carmona here. Today's video is going to be more of a question and answer to deal with some issues, questions that you've had, or some clarifications on some details that maybe I didn't show as well. Okay, let's deal with some questions about mask making. Why do we use interfacing? And which type of interfacing? There's so many options out there. First of all, when the first few masks that I made, I didn't even use interfacing. I didn't know about interfacing. I just heard, cotton fabric. Okay, so I just grabbed some cotton fabric, started whipping up some masks. Then I went to Joann Fabrics, hearing about their donation of giving away a kit, which is no longer available. They were giving out interfacing with an instruction sheet. So I said, oh, we're supposed to put interfacing in. I wasn't sure why. So I started putting interfacing in, but if you know me, I question everything, and I have to know why. I was that kid as a child that bugged my father and said, why? Why do we do this? Why does this happen? I need to know why. I have to ask questions. So I went searching the internet and had a hard time finding the answer. It's like, I learned that cotton fabric is breathable, and that's why we use it, and it also has a high thread count, and that's why we use it. And that in essence, the cotton fabric is a filter by itself. Not a great filter, but it is a filter. It'll, block some particles such as dust and pollen, but it's not going to protect you against a virus. And so I was like, why? What's different about interfacing? So I started looking up interfacing. The non-woven interfacings are made of a bonded fiber, which creates an additional layer to block particles that might slip through the woven fabric, because the woven fabric is going to have tiny little holes. The non-woven interfacings are made of a bonded fiber, which creates an additional layer to block particles that might slip through the woven fabric. There are many types of interfacing. This is called Wonder Under, and this is used as a stabilizer when doing like embroidery or monogramming or appliques, when you need to make the fabric a little stiffer. And it is an iron-on, and then you can peel off the paper. You can hit the paper on the back. I do not use this in our masks. A popular brand is Pellon. This is a fusible kind. It's featherweight. You can get the sew-in or the fusible. Now, I don't know what sort of adhesive that they use. If it's got some kind of an adhesive, it's possible it's a type of glue. That could be a chemical that somebody might have a reaction to, and it's something you're going to be breathing through for a long period of time holding a mask. So I prefer not to use the fusible kind. There might not be a danger in it. I don't know. But some glues can be toxic, and so I kind of steer away from the fusible kind. You can use a lightweight, a featherweight, a medium weight. Don't go to heavy. You don't want a piece of interfacing that is really thick and heavy. The heavier it is, the harder it's going to be to breathe through. I would think the featherweight, the lightweight would be easier to breathe through. I tested my interfacing for its waterproofness. It's not waterproof, but it is a slight bit of a deterrent, which you shall see. We'll do a little experiment. We have a piece of fabric. I chose a plain color so that it you can see what's happening. I'm going to take a piece of our interfacing, our non-woven interfacing, and I'm going to place it on here. And I have a cup of water. I'm going to just dip my fingers in and get a little bit, and I'm going to say, it simulates somebody sneezing. Choo. Choo. Okay, you can see water droplets there. I lift this up. Look, there's no water droplets here. Now this is not 100%. Now if I as I touch the back of this, of course this hand is wet, I can feel a slight bit of dampness on the other side. So it did seep through. It's not 100%, but it does give you some level of protection. This right here is dry. There, it's wet. So from my test, you saw that it's not waterproof, but it does offer a layer of protection. Do not use waterproof barriers because then you won't be able to breathe. If water can't pass through, oxygen can't pass through. It's important you can breathe through your mask. When you're using the regular interfacing, you could sew it in, or you could use it as a filter and have it removable and replaceable. This is washable. I did a test to prove that it doesn't break down in hot water, and I will show you that. We are now in my kitchen because I want to do 2 experiments. I have 2 swatches of interfacing. This is the interfacing that I have been putting inside of the mask that I've been sewing, and I want to test something out. We know that people can sterilize a mask by washing it in hot water. So I want to put one mask in boiling water and see, one piece in boiling water to see if it melts. I also want to put one in the oven to see if it burns or melts, because sometimes interfacing is made with polyester, and polyester, it might melt. So I'm going to test that out to see if I have a good quality product or not. So we have the oven on because the pizza, it's Friday night. I'm just going to grab a little pan here, and I'm going to put one of these in the oven. We'll just let it cook the pizza. That's another piece. And this one, well, I have to wait for the water to boil. I'll wait till it's boiling. We know that water boils at 212 degrees, so when that starts boiling, I will put it in and I'll show you what happens. All right, the water is bubbly boiling, so I'm taking my piece of interfacing and I'm going to put it in there. Of course, it's turning because of the movement of the water, but it's still a solid piece. So let it boil some more, because you can boil things to sterilize. So if I can boil this piece of interfacing, then that means that the mask can be sterilized. It's still got its square edges. It's not losing its shape. So that means it can be washed in very hot water. It can be boiled, and the mask can be sterilized without no damage to the interfacing. All right, I'm going to remove it. And I'm going to unfold it. Make sure it's all solid there. It's still the same shape. No damage. So it did not melt. Well, it's getting scorched, but it's not melting. The pizza's not done yet. Pizza's actually almost done. It did not melt. I mean, it's a little dirty from the pan, but it's still the same shape. It's not melted. I wonder if it's not hot enough. That doesn't even feel hot. You know what? After this pizza gets out, I'm going to turn the heat up. And we'll see what happens. How much heat can it take? This is a keto pizza. Let's change it to 500 degrees. Now it's going to take a little while. It's at 350 right now. And it hasn't really changed, just a little dirt from the pan. So we'll let that sit while I eat my pizza, and we'll come back and check it out. The temperature is at 404 degrees, and it looks scorched. Okay, so it looks scorched and bubbly, and it is definitely breaking down but that happened at 400 degrees. So it did fine at 350, but at 400 degrees, it broke down. So I don't know at what temperature they sterilize things. 212 degrees in boiling water, fine. But in a 400 degree oven, it broke down. I use this as an extra layer of protection, sort of like a filter. You can purchase interfacing anywhere that sells fabric for sewing. It can be sewn in or inserted through a pocket, allowing for the option of changing it out periodically. In my last video, uploaded before this video, I showed you how to make a filter pocket mask so that a person can have the option of changing out the filters as often as necessary for themselves. I also showed you how to use a Kirby vacuum cleaner bag that has HEPA fabric inside of it, and how you can make your own HEPA filters. That's in my previous video, so check that out. And the HEPA fabric gives you even better layer of protection. Go to my previous video to learn how to, I'll probably link it at the end of this video. Some people are even using filter fabric that comes out of air filters, and they're making filters out of that. And I've heard that some people are even making a mask out of these materials, the filters, and actually making a mask. It's just this, it's no fabric, it's just that, which could be useful for the replacement of a medical mask, because this is HEPA fabric, and I don't know the details on this, but it's probably also HEPA, so it would pass the standard. How long should the elastic be? I did talk about elastics in my previous video, so if you need some more information about how long should the elastic be, what type of elastics, I talk a lot about that in the last video, so I won't go into that this time. Which fabrics are best and why? The main goal of a fabric mask is to prevent your body fluids from being expelled onto another person, or to protect yourself from being splashed by somebody else's body fluids. Now, cloth masks do not provide the same level of protection as a medical grade mask. And I must say, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse or a medical professional, nor do I play one on YouTube. Medical grade mask, if worn properly, can block large and small droplets from coughs and sneezes. And they can also offer some germ blocking benefits. Even though the goal of wearing a mask is to prevent those droplets from reaching you or from others, you still have to be able to breathe. So we use porous materials that have tiny holes or pores like a sponge that allows the gas to pass through them, such as cotton. You want to avoid using waterproof materials as waterproof nylon and polyester, because they do not provide enough space between fabric for safe breathing. One reason for using cotton in the mask is that it can be easily washed in high temperatures. Polyester, for example, would melt in high temperature. Plus, cotton is breathable, and most cottons have a higher thread count, like 100. Quilter's cotton has a high thread count, 180 or more. A high thread count in fabric can also be a good filter. Pillowcases or sheets with 600 count fabric is excellent, but you might not want to cut up those good sheets. If you saw my last video, you saw me do a breathing test, and I used this mask, which is my fitted mask that has the curved top, and it had just a pipe cleaner, and it's got the tuck under here. Now I want to point out, this is not a dart, this is a tuck, because we don't want to sew up in here. We want to keep our stitching down here, so it's just folded over right here and stitched right along the edge. And this is what I call my shaped mask, and I was able to blow out the candle with that. You saw me do it with this mask. It's the same cotton fabric, it's just different print, but it's all cotton fabric. This again is a fitted mask. after I posted the video, I realized, you know what, I didn't test out my standard mask. So I've done this off camera. I tested the standard mask with the pipe cleaner, and I could blow out the candle. I tested it with the new nose bridge, and I must say the pipe cleaner actually gave me a better fit than this. But I was able to blow out the candle. It just took a little bit longer. And then I realized, well, I didn't even test the one with the pocket filter. First, I tested this without the filter. I was able to blow it out. When I put the filter in, it was a little bit harder. But I was able, with all of these, I was able to blow out the candle. And so they all passed the test. Took several blows. With that one, I remember it happened on the first time. I mean, I couldn't blow out the match, but I blew out the candle with that one. So I have tested everything that I've got, and it works. And I am going to throw that filter away because I just used it. So I just wanted to add that because somebody's going to say, but you didn't test the standard mask. The shaped masks, these are the best because they have the best fit. But the standard mask, it still works, even though it's just simple and plain. I wanted to put this on with the back strap because you may need to make your elastic a little bit longer when you're using the back strap. I just wanted to show you how it fits with the back strap. Or I guess you could call it a neck strap. The back strap, it kind of hits the base of the neck. And it does pull it. It does pull it back, so you really have a really good fit right here. There's no gaps, and I can put my finger just this far, but it's actually pretty tight right here. So that's good. Not really tight, but just sufficient. And then it cups under here, so the nose and the mouth area are thoroughly, they're thoroughly, covered, and it has a good fit. So I try to put the band higher, but it wants to slide back down, and that's fine. And this is really comfortable. And you notice I am talking through this mask, and you don't see this going in and out because I obviously can breathe through it. If you have a mask and when you're talking or breathing and it goes, then something's not right. You've got to be able to breathe through the mask. And that's one of the reasons why we use cotton, because cotton is a breathable fabric. So the major design flaw with the Olsen mask is that seam right down the center. Another reason that I prefer the pleated mask to the shaped Olsen mask is that you waste a lot of fabric with that design. It's a lot more cutting, it's time consuming, it takes more time to put it together. This is quicker and faster to put together, so I can sew more. And I have sewn nearly 600 masks by myself. I don't have a team to help me, it's just me by myself doing this. I mean, some people can boast that they've done 176,000, but they had a team of people helping them do it. They didn't do that all by themselves. I am selling my mask in my Etsy shop. The name of my shop is Carmona Arts. I do arts and crafts, and I do beach signs, I sew aprons. I'm now sewing masks, which is a new addition to my Etsy shop. And there's other stuff there too. I have two types of masks. This is the standard mask, and this is the shaped mask. We flattened it out a little bit. It's not exactly flat. It has a tuck at the bottom, and it has an extra rounded curve. They both passed the breathing test. They both have a wire in the nose. This is standard, it's only $10, and this is $14 because it takes more time to make this. Now, the differences between them is that this one has a tuck at the bottom, and it has an extra curve at the top of it. It's not just flat. And so to get a really good fit, and this has enough room in it that it actually can fit over an N95 mask. Let me illustrate. Here I have an N95, it says N95, and I'm going to put this on. I usually use this in my woodwork shop. But I just wanted to show you that this can fit over it. So you can see that it does fit over the N95 mask, although you probably can't hear me very well. So yes, I do know what an N95 mask is, and I designed this so that it will fit over top of that. The standard mask has a nose bridge on it, and it fits pretty good. It's just a little bit loose down here because it doesn't have that tuck, but you could always add that tuck. I sell these cheaper because they're faster to make, but if you wanted to add that tuck, you just take your mask and find the center of it. I'm just going to bend that wire a little bit. Find the center of it right here, and then you just make a little tuck like that, and then you sew it. So it's like a pleat, and you just sew it right here on the seam. You don't want to make a dart because a dart would puncture holes. I mean, you could find the center and you could make a dart, but then you'd be stitching up in, yeah, I suppose if it's stitching stays under the chin, you could make a dart right here. As long as it stays under the chin, that would be fine, and that would also work. But I just do a pleat so that it can tuck under the chin and cup the chin like it should, so that you've got a good coverage of the nose and the mouth. Both of these masks passed my breathing test that I did in the last video. Can children wear masks? I would recommend going to the CDC website and read what they have there. CDC is currently recommending that against masks for children under the age of 2. And I saw somewhere, but I don't know where they got their information, said no child under the age of 10. I don't know. I would check with the CDC on that. CDC also recommends do not put a mask on anyone who has trouble breathing, or who is unconscious, or they're incapacitated or otherwise unable to remove the cover without help. I have sewn a few children's masks. I will put the dimensions of the children's mask in the video description below the video. I make men's masks. I make them a little larger. I will put those dimensions also below the video in the video description. Make sure you read the full video description, hit see more, and it will open up and it will have a lot of details in there. And many times videos that have information or how-tos, or you need links, they're going to be in the video description below the video if you look at it. Oh, it's frustrating when people don't read that. I had this one video where people had the same question over and over and over again. I put the answer below the video in the video description, but they don't read. People are lazy and they just want to watch a video, but they don't read what you put right in front of them. So make sure you, before you ask a question or make a comment, look at the comments that I put in the video description. Okay, how do I take care of my mask? Treat your mask with the same sensitivity as you would your own skin. Do not use harsh chemicals when you wash your mask. These are cotton. They can withstand high temperatures, and I show you that in a test where I put them in boiling water. You don't want to use fabric softeners. Many times those fragrances and chemicals that might be in the fabric softener, you're going to have it in your mask and you're going to be breathing through it, and you may not like those things, and it may become an irritant. It may cause some people an allergic reaction or rashes or other symptoms. And if somebody's breathing through those fragrances and chemicals for a long period of time, it could cause headaches and other problems. In addition, don't spray your mask with Lysol or any disinfectant. That can irritate the skin and just not be good for you to breathe into. You can wash it in the washer, dry it in the dryer, or you can hang it up on the clothesline outside. Sunshine is a wonderful disinfectant, and it's a great way to dry your mask. The colors may fade if you leave it out in the sun too long, but you can put a little bit of salt in your washing machine, and that will also protect the colors so the colors don't fade. And don't use dryer sheets. If you dry it in the dryer, don't use the dryer sheets because of the chemicals. I hate those dryer sheets. They make towels, so they're non-absorbent. What good is a towel that doesn't absorb? Isn't that the purpose of a towel? I get so frustrated. I spill, I grab a rag, a kitchen rag, to wipe it up, and it won't pick up the mess because my son likes to use those dryer sheets. I don't like those dryer sheets. I actually use a non-chemical laundry detergent for all my laundry. I make my own laundry soap. I have a video somewhere on my channel. There's a video about making your own laundry soap because I try to live in a chemical-free environment. I realize there's so many things in this world that attacks us. In our water, in our air, in our food, in our environment, in body, shampoos, soaps, hairsprays, hair gels, you name it. There's chemicals surrounding us. So I try to stay away from chemicals as much as possible. Matter of fact, I'm so chemical free, I can't even walk down the aisle in the grocery store that has all the soaps and the laundry detergents and all that stuff. I just skip that aisle. I can't. The smell is so strong. I'm a natural girl. That's one of the reasons why I went back to my natural hair color, because I realized that the hair dye was causing me the headaches, and it was also causing my hair to fall out. But since I quit dyeing my hair and I went to my natural color, my hair has gotten thicker, healthier, and I'm also very conscious about what kind of shampoo I use and what kind of soap. I actually buy from people on Etsy to get safe soaps. I don't like to buy soaps from the grocery store. And I'm very even particular about the soap dispenser, soap at the sink. I'm very fussy about that. I read the labels, I look up the chemicals, I learn about them and figure out what they are. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling. The mask may not protect you from a virus. I am a person who seeks truth, and I consider myself to be an honest person. I would never want to mislead anybody. I would never want to put forth any false information. And so I've got to share a couple of things that I came across that I feel it's important that I share. There is not sufficient evidence to show that wearing a mask reduces the wearer's likelihood of catching COVID-19. I understand there's different reasons people wear a mask, and I see the argument happening on Facebook. Those who wear a mask they got names for them and they pick them apart. And they shame people for wearing a mask, and then there's the group that shames people for not wearing a mask. I'm not going to get into that. People have different reasons why they feel they need a mask, and I am supporting those who feel they need to wear a mask. I'm not going to condemn anyone who doesn't wear a mask. I'm not going to condemn anybody who does wear a mask. We all have different reasons, but understand that the mask may not protect you from a virus. There's not enough proof or evidence that it does protect you from something like COVID, because the COVID virus is reported to be 0.125, I guess that's thousandths of a micron. That's very, very tiny. We've already talked about the cotton mask having little tiny holes between where the fibers cross each other. Well, that virus can get through that little hole, and that's why we use the interfacing as an extra block to prevent that. I don't know how effective that is. In the N95 mask, I've looked at information even about the N95 mask, and I saw I guess you could say it's a meme or a chart, and it shows that it can protect you against viruses, and it's the only mask that can protect you against a virus. But I also read that the N95 mask has pores of 0.3 microns. So that means this virus can even penetrate the tiny little holes in the N95. So even this mask may not protect you from COVID-19 virus. So I just want to put that out there because I want to be honest. I'm not going to, lie. I'm not going to hide truths, things I come across. I want to be open and honest with you. This continuation of wearing a mask is going to go on for a while longer. So I'm continuing to sew masks. I've sewn nearly 600 masks, and I still have orders coming in every day. And I will continue until my supply runs out, I think. Visit my Etsy shop. I'll put the link below in the video description if you need a mask. In my next video, I'm going to make a dual purpose mask. I had read that a combination of cotton with natural silk or chiffon can be excellent materials that can effectively filter out airborne particles. Yeah, this is material that many ladies' nighties are made out of. So, in my next video, I'm going to make a dual purpose mask that will also be a fashion statement. Because sometimes you need a mask and sometimes you don't want to have it on all the time. But I'm going to show you how you can make a very functional mask that'll serve the purpose as a mask, but also be a fashion accessory. So be sure you subscribe to my channel so that you get the notifications. Hit the bell so you get the notifications for my upcoming videos. I use a non-woven interfacing fabric, which is made of 95% polypropylene. Polypropylene. I don't know how to say the word.